What is good? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Pick 6 channel. Today we have a little bit of a special video today. I got my boy Nate Dogg.
What's up? What's up?
I got my boy over here. What's your name, bro?
Xavier.
I got my boy Xavier over here. Sorry.
All good.
So, our topic today is playoff teams and where, if they could go into the Super Bowl or if they cannot. Okay, we're going off the playoff brackets now and the teams that are in the hunt. So the first teams we'll go off of are the teams in the NFC. For those of you who don't know, I'm a Steeler fan. He's a Charger fan, and he's a Denver Bronco fan.
Correct.
That's right. Okay, so let's ride on this, man. We got the first team is the Carolina Panthers.
They're in the playoffs.
That's very surprising, right? I think a lot of people kind of expected them to be terrible this season. However, they're actually not doing too bad. Panthers are, I believe, a 500 record. They're really in it because their division is terrible. All right, let's be real here. The Buccaneers aren't the same team that they were last season. They're also, I believe, 500 or a game above 500. So they're in the hunt. That's really their only shot to make the playoffs is to win their division. Do you guys see them winning the division? It's going to be tough.
Not with how close the NFC race is.
Mm-hmm.
The only shot they have is if they win the division.
Yeah.
If they come in second, they're not making it. So it's a race between them and the Bucs. And I'm putting more faith in Baker Mayfield and the Bucs squad than Bryce Young and the Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, I think you make like a really great point with that because if they do come second in the division, there's absolutely no chance they have to make the playoffs. I mean, what are they, 7-7 or 8-7 at this point?
So both teams are 7-7.
Okay, so you know the Buccaneers, like you said, they have Baker Mayfield, they have a squad. Mike Evans is back, Chris Godwin's starting to play good, and the Panthers, they got Ted, they have a good run game, but you know I think that defense is still weak outside of Derek Brown to really make a push for the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm just not sold on Carolina, man. I still don't know how good they are. I know they beat a couple good teams here and there. If you want to count the Cowboys as an elite football team, I mean they're 6-7-1.
They're solid.
6-7-1.
Yeah, I don't know, but I trust Baker Mayfield. I know I'm kind of mirroring what you guys are saying, but Baker Mayfield has that experience in the playoffs and just in the regular season as well. I think maybe they probably don't make a huge run, but they don't have to, okay? I'm not going off of their actual rest of their season. I don't really have that in front of me, but I just trust the Buccaneers a heck of a lot more than I trust the Panthers, although maybe the Panthers have a little bit of a bright future ahead of them with Bryce Young. I know he's been kind of up and down. What do you guys think about Bryce Young?
Bryce Young is I don't know how he went number 1 overall, and here's why. I understand he's a great processor, and he's a very elite IQ player. However, we haven't really seen that fully come to fruition during his time in the NFL. I think a lot of that has to do to obviously his size, and that's why he was that was his weakness, was his size. But now in the NFL, guys are bigger, stronger, tougher, and now he can't really see over the middle of the field. You keep giving him middle of the field weapons like Ted, like Xavier Legette, even Jalen Coker to an extent. It's not really a great fit. While some of those guys can all line up on the outside and do outside receiver-y things, Bryce Young still has to make the correct reads. And, he has a great offense around him. I think that's why they're 7-7. But the Bryce Young experience needs to end soon.
Oh.
I really do think so.
Wow.
Give him the rookie contract and boot him.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was harsh, Nate.
Once that contract's up, goodbye.
I know why he went first overall. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Yeah.
Roll Tide. All right. I think that's the main focus. And didn't they not win a national championship with Bryce Young?
I'm not sure if they did.
Well, they were always in the mix. All right.
Yes.
They were always in the
100%.
mix with Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Just with any other quarterback with Alabama. So I think that's why he went first overall, because of Bama. As far as his skill set, I don't know, man. He's just kind of average right now. Maybe you're right, Nate Dogg. I'm just trying to be a little bit nice here. All right, how say you?
I feel like you can't really say one thing that Bryce Young's he's top of the league at this thing.
That's true.
He doesn't have a strong arm. His footwork's kind of all over the place. He can scramble, but He's not even like that fast.
Yeah.
That's true.
Just the average guy.
And is that acceptable in like today's NFL to have just an average guy he drafted number 1 overall? I feel like we've seen teams move on from better sooner.
It depends on the team and the system. I don't think Carolina has a good enough system to have just an average quarterback. There are some systems that can. I'd say like the San Francisco 49ers, maybe not now, but you know, when Brock Purdy was first starting out, they had a great system around them, whether it's a running back core, the receiving core, definitely, George Kittle at tight end. The Panthers don't have that. They do have a good system, just not what the 49ers had, at least.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, agreed.
So we both got all three of us got the Panthers not going to the playoffs.
Knock him out.
Get them out.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's a little bit harsh on Carolina. All right. Next, we have the Detroit Lions. This team is outside the playoff picture at this point of the season. Who would have thought? They are currently the 8th seed on the outside looking in. They have an 8-6 record. Okay, they're going to be facing my Pittsburgh Steelers this week. That's probably going to be a tough watch for me. So how do you guys see the Lions, man? They just lost to the Rams. Rams are a very good team, though.
True.
Okay. Can the Lions make a push at the very end to make the playoffs? Because there's some things that happened with Green Bay. They lost Micah Parsons. That's a tough one. So I guess this one's a 2-1. Talking about the Packers and talking about the Lions, because that's the 7th seed right there.
Yeah.
So how do you guys see Detroit for the next few weeks?
I mean, I thought you just brought up a really great point of the Packers' injuries. Micah Parsons, done for the year. During that Broncos game, they probably had like 5 injuries happen in that second half.
Yeah, it was tough.
I don't know the status on Zach Tom, one of their offensive linemen. He went down. Romeo Dobbs, I believe, went down. Christian Watson, he had a chest injury. And I think one of the players in their secondary as well went down. It was like, it was a bloodbath for them. And, you know, we're coming down to the final, 3 weeks of the season?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
We'll see.
You know, the NFC North as a whole is really, really competitive. I mean, it has been for a couple years now. And, you know, I feel like we've kind of forgotten the Bears a little bit in this mix. I think we'll talk about them later,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But if we're going to be talking about the NFC North, you know, the Bears are a really good team under the former Lions offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson. You know, I feel like the Lions have really felt the loss of Ben Johnson, and they're really struggling across the interior of the offensive line. I think they're starting to find some footing. With the rookie out of Georgia, Tate Ratledge, playing center, playing guard, you know, kind of just finding where he's the best. So I feel like they're kind of finding a lot of issues with their offensive line. They're kind of finding their groove a little bit, but that defense, man, the defense is struggling a little bit. They just gave up, 41 points to the Rams.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of the crux of their season and why they have yet to really, break out of this mold without Ben Johnson.
100%. Yeah.
I think that's true. I like Dan Campbell, or as I like to call him, Dan Gamble, because how much he likes to go for it on 4th downs. Even on his own side of the field, he'll go for it on 4th down. That guy's insane. Make sure he's not in a casino, man. He's probably going all in. I like this Lions team. I like watching them. They're a fun team to watch. They're not the same Detroit Lions team from last year, though. That's for sure. I mean, they did lose their defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator in the same offseason.
That's true.
That's showing, man.
Yeah.
That really is. They don't have the same plays offensively as they did last season because Ben Johnson's one hell of a coordinator, man, and one hell of a coach. That's showing even now. With the circumstances with Green Bay, I think this team does sneak into the playoffs, and I think that this team could, give any team in the playoffs a good run for their money. I'm not saying that they could beat them, but I'm saying that they could maybe get an upset, maybe 2. I think that maybe at the very most, they're out in the 2nd round of the playoffs. I think they make the playoffs.
I can totally see what you're saying, and I think they would be one of those teams that, a 3rd seed or a 4th seed would not want to play. No one wants to play the Lions on any given Sunday because they are the Lions. They still are that Dan Campbell-led, gritty team. However, them actually making it really depends on who they play because, again, the NFC North is a bloodbath, and, if the NFC wildcard picture is as competitive as I can recall, it's going to be really tough for them to make it.
Yeah, week 18, actually, they face off at Chicago.
Ooh.
So that might be a division, tiebreaker
Yeah.
to see if they make the playoffs or
The
not.
Bears are the 2 seed right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're ahead
So-
of the Packers. So
They'll play, okay, the first 3 seeds right now are the Eagles, Bears, and Rams. So they're going to have to play, I think, either the Bears or Eagles. If they go against the Eagles, I think they could beat the Eagles. We'll talk about the Eagles a little bit.
Yeah.
I think they're a little fraudulent this season. Okay? I'm going to say that before we even talk about the Eagles. So where do you guys see the Lions finishing? Do you see them making the playoffs at all?
I'm going to take a look at the Packers schedule because I know they also face the Bears
Ooh, okay.
this weekend. So it's like those 2 games, that's going to be the deciding marbles, you know?
Yeah, 100%. You know, and it's again a very competitive division, and I think the Lions, it just might not be their year. I think it's if they make it, if they sneak in, I think they have a really fun chance to really throw off a big a high seed playoff run out the window because they are a seasoned team at this point under Dan Campbell. But the fact of the matter is, if they do make it,
you know what? Big thing is Packers beat the Lions in both matchups this year.
Ooh.
So that might just kick the Lions out of the playoffs.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the Packers are going to have to play, or they don't really need to play that good of football, right?
They have the Bears coming up, then it's Ravens, Vikings. So
That's not that easy of a schedule, though.
it's not.
I mean, I guess Minnesota.
They're playing a little bit better. Let's give them some credit. They're playing a little bit better.
Yeah, you guys beat Dallas.
Yeah. That was surprising.
Yeah.
Did not expect that at all. Seems like JJ McCarthy's
He's
on the rise.
doing a little something.
Yeah,
He's doing better.
he's doing better.
He's doing better.
Can't deny that.
He's not quite 9. Maybe he's like 3 right now. But he's,
Yeah.
he's getting better. Yeah.
Slowly escalating.
All right.
I mean, he is on the rise.
He's on the rise.
Technically. All right. So I'm still going off of what I said. I think the Lions are going to make the playoffs. Is there a little bit bias there because I like Dan Campbell as a head coach? Probably. Okay. And I do think the Packers are a good team. It's very unfortunate that one of these teams is going to have to miss the playoffs. That's just where we're at right now because there's quite a few good teams in the NFC. So I got the Lions finishing, I guess, in the second round exits. You guys, what are you guys thinking, man?
That's a tough one. I guess it really depends on the matchup, but I think if they go against one of those teams, almost like the Bears, or a team that's not really playoff seasoned at this point, I feel like they can do an upset victory.
Okay.
If they play against a team, I don't know about the Eagles, but a team that's kind of been there, done that, I think they're out.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We kind of talked about the Packers a little bit. The current 7th seed, honestly, I don't see them making the playoffs. They faced way too many injuries this past week. I don't know how serious some of them are, but the Micah Parsons one is he's out for the rest of the season. That's going to hurt their defense a lot. And it's not like the Packers offense has truly been lighting it up that much this season. Correct me if I'm wrong. They've been doing okay. They've been scoring enough to win, but nothing too crazy. And I think that's going to come back and bite the Packers unless Jordan Love just completely tears it up the rest of the season.
It's Toyota-thon.
It is Toyota. That's a great point. I do want to add. So I think your point about the Packers offense is true. So the viewpoint goes to the defense. You just lost Micah Parsons. You know who's their next best pass rusher? Is the man I call 007, Rashawn Gary. We got 0 sacks, 0 QB hits in 7 games. 007.
But you give him a sick nickname like that?
This is from Twitter. So if I misquoted that, I'm sorry, but that was from Twitter.
Gosh, man, when you said 007, I'm like, damn, this guy sounds like a baller, man. This guy's a straight assassin on the field. Okay.
Rashawn Gary has not been good since he tried to do the little Euro step move across the center.
Oh, he tried to copy Myles Garrett last year. I remember that clip.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. There's a reason why they had to trade for Parsons in the first place because Gary wasn't doing anything.
Exactly, and I think that's kind of a crucial point of their season. Losing Micah Parsons, who's kind of been a force multiplier. Obviously, he has 12.5 sacks, but other guys get free, clean on one-on-ones, and now you don't have that, and you're back to Lucas Van Ness and Rashawn Gary.
Yeah.
I think, boo, get them out.
Yeah, neither one of them have any pass rushing prowess.
And they like guys like that out of the draft.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they like the big stocky guys at edge instead of anyone with some speed.
Nick Benito.
Yeah.
Okay, is it too early to say who won the Michael Parsons trade?
I think we kind of already knew that. I think
they, all right, because right now, if you ask me, I think they both lost.
ooh, that'd be an interesting topic.
Okay, no, because it's not Michael Parsons' fault, okay? It's just more of unfortunate circumstances. With the Dallas, they're just not very good. Okay, that's just... Dallas made a huge mistake in trading Michael Parsons away. Packers just haven't capitalized, really. I think that's really the problem as far as Green Bay's side. Dallas still got those picks, though. Who knows what they're going to do with those picks?
That's true. You know, it's a mystery box. You know, get the proven player or get a mystery box, which is the draft picks.
Did they not use the draft pick they got from Michael Parsons' deal for Keenan Williams?
Yeah, no, they used one of the picks for Quinnen Williams for sure.
Yeah.
And they got Kenny Clark.
And they also got Kenny Clark. So it's like, those are two top-tier guys at their position at defensive tackle. So, and then free up cap space, you know.
I think you have a good point.
Sometimes you got to go backwards a little bit to go move forward. So.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
I don't know.
And who knows? Maybe in the draft, they could get a talent like Michael Parsons.
Ooh, we'll see.
Right?
hey, I don't know.
Arvell Reese.
I don't know what Jerry Jones is doing there.
See.
Okay, so Packers, I think they're missing the playoffs. How do you guys see it?
Agreed.
I think if they're probably just going to stay at the 7th seed. But if they stay in the playoffs, first round exit, just too many injuries.
Dude. It sucks. It really sucks with the Lions and Packers, man, because I actually want them to do good. I think they can do good with the talent that they had. It's just really injuries and just unfortunate circumstances for both teams. Okay. Next, we have the San Francisco 49ers, who are currently the 6th seed. As today, they have a 10-4 record coming off a win against Tennessee. Their division's really good, man.
Yeah, it's
very good.
Bloodbath.
Very stacked division. That's the only reason why they're a 6th seed. I mean, 10-4, you typically are winning that division, right?
Right.
So where do you guys see the 49ers here? They are getting a little bit older, you know. The talent's getting a little bit older. This is probably their last chance to be a legit Super Bowl contender. It's this season.
Man, you know, like you guys said, that division is a bloodbath. And I think the 49ers, you know, kind of feels like they're running out of gas just a little bit. I'm not like super tapped into Niners ball, right? But it kind of feels like, you know, I got Christian McCaffrey on my fantasy team. It just feels like less and less and less the points scored for them. And, you know, against Tennessee put up a fight, good for them. But they, you know, obviously, you know, hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby moment right there.
Mm-hmm.
You get a golf clap, Tennessee. They get a golf clap.
There you go. Yeah.
You get a golf clap.
But I just think with the division, I think they make the playoffs. I think maybe they win one, but I just think they're kind of running out of gas at this point.
Yeah. At least they've been in the playoffs for years at this point. You know, they have a coach that's been there, done that. But yeah, I feel like you're right. Because you used to see like Kyle Shanahan. He's known as the offensive mastermind, you know, has been for years. But they aren't putting up points like they have been in the past.
Yeah.
Like, used to see like 40-point bombs.
Like some semi-frequently, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, unless they go up against a terrible opponent like Tennessee or like the Falcons earlier in the year, it's just not there.
And, you know, they haven't really had too many teams that they've played that are really good either this season. It's been a very easy schedule for the Niners.
Mm-hmm.
You know, granted, they were injured for the beginning of the season to middle of the season, but again, the competition still wasn't very good. It still hasn't been very good. They did beat Seattle in, week 1?
That's a dub.
Then they got swept by the Rams. Or no, I'm sorry. They split with the Rams, but the last time they played the Rams, they got demolished at home. I think I'm thinking what you're thinking. That's maybe they could get a first round win. Not much after that. I don't see. They're a little bit older. Like I said, it's a very talented squad, but there's other teams that are hungry that haven't been to the Super Bowl and that haven't been to even a conference championship that I think are going to beat the Niners this year.
Yeah, and the team ahead of them, the Seahawks, they actually have once again, Week 18 final matchup.
Ooh.
That could determine who's in the wild card or not.
I kind of think back to last year NFC North kind of game, the Week 18 Lions-Vikings game, kind of decide who gets the seeding, who gets the home matchup.
Right.
So something like that. But I will say I think the Niners, like I said before, running out of gas a little bit, and their defense is super banged up. I feel like that's underrated, the kind of storyline of it all, and I think that defense is not going to be able to hold up in playoff football.
You think they're running out of gas because they're a little bit of an older team now?
I think that's a good point. And, losing Michael Williams, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, I think it's just, you don't have that star power on defense. I mean, I like Malik Mustafa,
Yeah.
but, I don't think he can do it himself,
That's true. That's true.
And then Ayuk, he just got announced he's just done. He's done with the team.
Shout out my IR fantasy stash for the whole season. I'm glad I did that.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh man, I'm kind of glad Ayuk didn't go to the Steelers, man, with that whole situation. He's kind of like, I don't even want to compare the two. I was gonna compare him to Antonio Brown, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. Okay.
Not today.
No, not today. for respect for Antonio Brown, actually, because he had the talent. Respectfully.
Yes.
Okay. So where do you see them finishing, getting a playoff win, anything like that?
They could, depending on the
Okay.
matchup. Let's say the Eagles,
Ooh, okay. Okay.
Like, they faced the Eagles before.
Yeah.
Maybe not have come on the winning side of it, but both teams playoff hardened. Just comes down to who wins the matchup. We'll see.
I think if the Niners don't have a running back as their quarterback, I think they could win that game. I think so.
Let's do it.
Okay, so next we have their division rivals in the Seattle Seahawks with the 5th seed. They have an 11-3 record coming off a win against Phillip Rivers, Grandpa Phillip, and the Colts, man. They're second in the NFC West. Honestly, man, I think the Niners are a little bit better of a team. I'm not too sure. I'm not sold. Okay, I say that because I'm not sold on Sam Darnold.
Okay.
He's never really won a big game, and it's going back to his USC days too. He's never really won when it mattered most. That's really what it comes down to as well.
I think that's actually a very interesting point because I did bring up last week's Vikings-Lions matchup where, if I can recall, they lost, and it was Sam Darnold, was not playing very well in that game.
Yeah.
And so it kind of seems like at the end of the season, Sam Darnold seems to kind of implode a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And, as the resident Chargers fan, yes, you go up against Grandpa Rivers and, you barely beat him by 2 points off a last-second field goal. But I think that's kind of indicative of where the Seahawks are at, where that defense is too nasty to, leave out of the playoffs. And if Sam Darnold could just not implode, they're going to be fine. I think they can win. I think this is a playoff caliber team with a team that's built for the playoffs. Defense, run game, don't implode Sam Darnold, and we're good.
Yeah, as long as you got those two things, you have a chance in the
Exactly.
playoffs. Yeah, because that defense top 5 in every statistic. Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker in the backfield. That's a nice duo.
So good.
Yeah.
I think they're first round exits.
Ooh,
And-
hot take.
You're not wrong. That could totally happen. We saw how Darnold played last year in the playoffs. Just, that was ugly.
It was ugly.
It happens a lot with Sam Darnold in whether it's Pac-12 championship games, pretty much the entire towards the end of the season, right? Last year with the Vikings, he wasn't playing very good at least the very end of the season, because what they had, the game against Detroit the week before for the division, they got blown out.
Yep.
And then the week after, they played the Rams, and they looked terrible as well. So it's more of me not being sold on Sam Darnold. I'm a fan of Sam Darnold because I'm a USC fan.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see it, man.
I think they're built for him. Just Sam Darnold, just don't see ghosts, and you'll be okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And having playoff experience. Hey, he got his one taste of it last year.
Yeah.
Maybe he's learned from it. Having a great season so far, 11-3. And, hey, he could rely on Jackson Smith and Jigba like he has all season. Who's going to cover him?
Nobody.
Nobody. Best receiver in the league.
Yeah, this year.
Yeah.
Jettas isn't what is it, 150 yards off 1,000?
Off.
The Sam Darnold effect? No.
Man. I think Jefferson is still the best. Obviously not statistically wise, but just as far as talent wise, that the whole quarterback situation this season for the Vikings has been a mess.
100%.
Shout out Max Brosmer for 4 interceptions.
I thought he was going to be better than that, man. Come on.
But hey, we have J.J. McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing this slow on purpose. On the rise. On the rise. Okay, so where do you guys finish or see the Seahawks finishing? Can they get a playoff win? Because I don't think so. Where do you see them finishing?
I think they make it to the championship game minimum.
Minimum.
I really see this team like they're just built for the playoffs. I really see this team going far, and I see Sam Mike McDonald's such a great coach, and I believe they have Clint Kubiak as their offensive coordinator. Or
I think so.
Kubiak, yeah, one of them. So if he knows ball, right? Just don't let Sam Darnold throw that much, or if you do, give it to Jackson Smith and Jigba, and you're good. I think they're built for it. I think they can do it.
Dude, that sounds so bad. Don't give Sam Darnold the ball so much.
Yeah.
Looking at the other teams ahead of them, I might have to agree with you on that.
Yup.
Because I'm not taking the Buccaneers over the Seahawks.
Nope.
And with the way the Eagles have been fading too this season, I'm not sure if I'm taking them either. And then the only team ahead that's not the Rams is the Bears. And I feel like everybody has the Rams to be in the Super Bowl.
100%. Championship game.
They're the number one seed for a reason.
Yeah.
Oof, I don't know.
Who's next?
Okay.
It would be the Bucks.
Yeah, next is the Bucks.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We already kind of discussed them. I feel like, I think the Bucks have they're gonna be on the rise once Baker's a little bit more healthy. I think he's in a slump because of the injury, but their defense is lacking pass rush, and I think they have enough weapons to suffice for now. But I just do think overall, I don't think they're gonna go very far.
No, their defense as a whole has been bad this season.
Okay.
The secondary, Zion McCollum's been getting torched.
Tough.
Yeah, it's not.
And Antoine Winfield.
Woo. Yeah, he's probably the lone. Mo Vita Vea.
Oh yeah. Those two.
Yeah, those two.
Levante. But I've heard, shout out the Athletic Football Show, I've heard he's kind of slowing down. He's old, man, and I think, the coverage ability is finally starting to diminish a little bit at his age.
Mm.
It's gonna be at Tampa Bay though if they play Seattle.
Okay.
It's not gonna be at the 12th man. All right, Seattle's not gonna have that home field advantage. It's gonna be in Tampa Bay or Tampa Baker.
Tampa Baker. I've never heard that one. Okay.
Well, we've heard of Tampa Bay.
Okay.
Tampa Baker.
I haven't heard it. I like it though.
Tampa Baker. All right. I don't think that this team goes very far. Although if they go up against Seattle, I don't know. For some reason, I think they're fraudulent, man. And it's not the team itself. It's just maybe Sam D. I feel like I'm hating on him too much here. I don't want to sound like a hater here, but I think that they could potentially beat Seattle. No other team after that. They were looking like a really good football team earlier this season. They were looking like the best team in the NFC.
Yeah.
Then, stuff happens, and they're just kind of in the middle of the pack at best.
Mm-hmm. Injuries.
Yeah.
Bucky Irving was gone for 7 weeks. That didn't help.
He's only averaging 3.5 yards per carry.
Yeah, he hasn't been good since he came back.
Yeah.
You know what? I think you guys convinced me here. I think Seattle gets to the second round.
Okay.
I don't see the Seahawks needing to rely on Sam Darnold for much.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just be safe with the ball. Waste some time off the clock, and I say we could say that with the Eagles.
Yeah.
Once AJ Brown started to talk too much, I'm not getting the ball anymore. Once they did start to feed him, I feel like the whole game plan's kind of shifted. Now they've been racking up some L's.
It's been rough.
They got to go back to running the ball more, wasting time off the clock.
Time of possession game.
Yeah.
And I want to add.
It's boring.
True.
But it wins games.
True. It's I feel like that's the most important statistic for winners and losers.
Mm-hmm.
Get the ball more, you score more.
Mm-hmm.
I did want to add to your point real quick about Sam Darnold and that team not needing to rely on him. For perspective, I had Darnold as my starting quarterback in fantasy. I've had Jason Myers, their kicker, as my starting kicker. Guess who scored more points? If I'm not mistaken, Jason Myers scored double the points as Sam Darnold in my fantasy team. So I think, for perspective, if they can just cross the 50 and play some defense, they're going to be all right. They have a great kicker, great run game, great defense. I think I'm taking the Seahawks to go far.
I think they're out in the second round, but that's more of them having to play the Buccaneers. If they're the 5th seed, if they're the 6th seed, they're probably going to have to play Philly. That's going to be a tough one, man. That's a 50-50.
I'm more scared of playing at Philly rather than Tampa Bay, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Philly's environment, they're known for having some loud fans. And if it's snowing, they'll definitely throw snowballs on the sideline.
Whatever they can do to win, you gotta respect it.
Yeah.
I'll say second round still. I'm just being on the safe side because I do think they're talented enough to get past the first round at the very, very least.
Right.
Okay, next we have, we just brought up the Buccaneers. We'll talk about the Eagles. Third seed, 9-5. First in the NFC East. I do believe they clinched the division already because the rest of the division isn't too great. What do you guys see the Eagles, man? Are they fly Eagles fly or are they cry Eagles cry?
I think right now they're crying for sure. I think the team is definitely on a slump. As a Chargers fan, I just watched that absolutely batshit game between the two of them. If they played, the rest of their season anything like that, I know Jalen Hurts is not gonna throw 4 picks and fumble and all that stuff in the same game, but that offense was broken, and I think that game was specifically Jalen Hurts. But I know Kevin Patullo, their offensive coordinator, has a lot to blame. And, I just feel like this Eagles offense doesn't have the juice. If their defense can get after it, maybe. Good run game, defense, can't count them out. Same thing with the Seahawks. So I just don't see them going very far. I don't think they're better than the Seahawks, period. I think the Seahawks wins that matchup 10 times out of 10.
Okay, it's just it being in Philly.
Yeah.
That's really it for me. I do think Seattle's the better team. But, if it's in Seattle, that's a different story. But since it's in Philly, that kind of makes it a little bit tough. This team, like you guys said, they need to go back to what their game plan is or was. And that's playing super duper boring football that doesn't belong on prime time.
The Steelers.
We'll talk about the Steelers. We'll definitely talk about the Steelers. But the Eagles don't belong on prime time. They play just such boring football. Nobody's... if you're not an Eagles fan, you're not watching Eagles football. Okay? Am I lying?
Yeah, or if you're a fan of the opposing team, but that's about where it ends.
Yeah.
How many Eagles games have you watched this season?
1, because they played the Chargers.
How about you? I know they played the Broncos at some point.
Yeah, early in the season. I think that's the one game I've seen.
Damn.
Yeah.
Point proven. Okay, but feed the ball to Saquon Barkley. Have Hurts throw it when he needs to. And you'll probably win more games that way. But I think their first round exits. I think it's cry, Eagles cry, and I kind of want it to be that way.
Yeah, I think it's for the same reason you said. Just if it is a Philly and Seahawks matchup, it being in Philly, it could be a coin toss. I would put money on the Seahawks if I had to, but they could still make the NFC Championship game. Maybe they've been in the playoffs. They just won the Super Bowl last year. I feel like you can't really discount that.
I think that's a really good point we haven't brought up. I think they did just win the Super Bowl. They had playoff experience. And they really can turn it on any time. Saquon can look like himself. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, that defense. If they turn it on, they still low-key got a super team.
Yeah, they didn't lose many players after the Super Bowl.
Right?
I think that.
Shout out offensive linemen, but...
But this is majority the same team that just won the Super Bowl. So, and then they locked up a bunch of guys too. So,
still a dangerous team.
Very.
They're on this downturn, and they can't get out of that funk. I'm taking the Seahawks.
I think it's the moral of the team that's different this season, and that's what's concerning. Because you could have all the star power in the world. We see it with basketball all the time. These super teams that are built, and they wind up not even making the playoffs or not making the finals like they're projected to because they don't have the morality. I think that's where the Eagles are right now.
Team identity is lacking. They were run the ball first, play defense last year. This year, Saquon hasn't looked the same. A.J. Brown wants the ball more. New offensive coordinator. Offensive line's been banged up. Kind of just seems like they don't know how to play offense this year.
Yeah, but they did just beat the Raiders handily. I think they beat them 31-0.
Ooh.
Who isn't beating the Raiders this season?
No. I'm just saying, sometimes a win can fix everything.
That's a good point.
It can fix
true.
attitude. It could it's a bounce back game. Beat an inferior opponent. Good vibes. Let's bring it into next week.
You know what? I like that point because the Chargers off the bye week, they beat the Raiders. and they've been
Nice.
they beat the Eagles, and then they beat the Chiefs. We'll talk about that later. That 3-game winning streak, good vibes from the Raiders. I think that's a good point. It has a kind of that domino effect.
Hey.
Shout out the Raiders.
Okay. Credit to the Eagles. Kenny Pickett won the Super Bowl last season.
True. Kenny Pickett revenge game did not go well.
That is a factual
not at all.
fact. Kenneth Pickett won a Super Bowl last year. He took the knee last year to end the Super Bowl. That is a factual fact.
Give him the MVP right now.
And they shut him out.
And not to mention, the next 3 weeks, the Eagles face the Commanders, Bills, and Commanders again.
Oh.
They're taking those Commanders games,
Yeah, Marcus Murray.
Yeah,
that
I think
bad,
so.
But it's a mess out there in Commander Land.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, they'll probably be 11-5 by season end. Take those wins, bring it with you into the playoffs.
I see what you're saying.
Notice how we didn't bring up the Bills there.
Yeah, I mean, the Bills are...
The Bills. We'll get there.
They're
We'll get there.
frightening.
All right, so I got them finishing in the first round, being first round exits. You guys think second round? Super Bowl?
Yeah, like divisional.
Okay.
Yeah, they can make the NFC Championship. Like, I wouldn't doubt them.
I feel like they are really such a wild card, no pun intended. I do think they have a chance to turn it on and go far, but I'm gonna say they lose their first game in the playoffs.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we have a team that hasn't been in the playoffs in a long time. Well, no, 2018. That's kind of forgettable. Double doink.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're talking about
Infamous.
the Bears. The Bears. 10-4, first in the NFC North, man. If somebody were to tell me in August that the Bears would be in first place in the NFC North and the second seed and 10-4, I probably would have laughed in their face. But they are. Ben Johnson doing a really good job. They're just looking like a really good overall team. Where do you guys see Chicago finishing up, man? They don't. Okay, one thing about Chicago, they lack the experience.
Yeah. What I like from them right now is their running game. They kind of have a two-headed monster between Kyle Monungai, their rookie, and DeAndre Swift. Was not expecting that.
Almanungai, baby.
Yeah, that's... And that could help them in the playoffs, having a rushing attack, not having to rely on Caleb Williams. It'd be their entire team's first time being in the playoffs since 2018. So, we'll see.
I don't think anyone on that roster has been around since the 2018 season.
Jalen Johnson, maybe? Or was he 2019
I
draft?
think he was 2019 draft.
Yeah.
So I feel like you said, it's going to be fresh for them. Unless their kicker, but I couldn't tell you. So, but point being is, I think the youth of the Bears team is something, but also Ben Johnson's pretty seasoned himself. So I think having a head coach that is seasoned in the playoffs is pretty important. Caleb Williams is definitely he's a marvel. He has his up and down moments for sure, but I think if he plays at high level, he can definitely do well. That defense is kicking around, and the offensive line's very much emulating what the Lions had with also with the 1-2 punch at running back.
That's true.
I think the Bears, I would take them probably winning a game in the wild card and then probably losing the divisional or losing in the championship game. I don't think they go much further than that. They're too young.
Agreed.
I think they go to the NFC Championship game. I think they wind up losing to the team that we're going to talk about next, but they're a very talented squad, man, with a very good head coach. It's only his first year as a head coach, and he's doing great, man. He's doing things. I mean, the Bears are like a cursed franchise, and he's over there having them first place in their division, which is a pretty stacked division, and in the second seed.
Yeah.
So I got to give Ben Johnson his props, and just experience-wise, I think that's what holds them back this year.
Yeah, he took it from worst from last year, worst in their division, to first this year so far. I mean, we'll see, because they face the Packers this coming week, but I'm taking the Bears in that matchup.
Yeah, I think so too.
100%.
Under the circumstances.
Yeah.
Because the Packers did beat the Bears, what was it, last week? A few wecs ago? But it's not the same Packers team now.
No,
Definitely not.
unfortunately.
Those injuries.
Next, we're talking about the L.A. Rams. This team is the first seed And I mean, they're looking. I'm not gonna say unbeatable because that they have lost a few games. How do you guys see the Rams finishing up? I think we already know the answers here because of what we've already said, but just to actually see it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, this Rams team is clicking. You know, Sean McVay is really pulling out all the stops this season. You know, and they're doing this. You know, obviously they lost Aaron Donald a few years ago, but their defense is also clicking, and it's without like such star talent like Aaron Donald was. Jared Verse is a good player. I've heard some second-year regression, but you know, sacks are a little bit fickle in that way anyway. But overall, you know, this team is really clicking on all cylinders. I think they found a really good linebacker duo in Nate Landman. Shout out Nate Landman. You know, been on that. And then Sean Dolak is an undrafted free agent. So overall, I think that team is doing quite well. And I think they have, you know, a bright future ahead of them.
Yeah, I got the Rams going to the Super Bowl. And I think it's going to be, I don't know if they win the Super Bowl. Depending on who they play, but I think they're going to be in the Super Bowl at their at their rivals' stadium in Santa Clara. So that's going to be tough for Niner fans to see.
Yeah, I'll be the third one to agree, but they're my Super Bowl, you know, bound team from the NFC. Nothing's really stopping them. They've been pretty healthy. Devontae Adams did go down with a hamstring injury this past weekend, but they're going to make the playoffs. It's kind of secured already.
Yeah.
Matthews, I mean, dating back to last year, they faced the Eagles in the divisional round in that snow game.
Yeah.
They were like a first down away from maybe getting a touchdown, you know?
Yeah.
They were on the other side of the Eagles' territory. They were right there. What happens if they, you know, score that game and they could have made it to the Super Bowl that year?
Yeah, I think it might be the Rams' year to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And since they're probably going to have home field advantage, they don't have to deal with the weather. They don't have to deal with going to Philly and that crazy environment. It's straight up just at home.
Great point.
So now we got the AFC matchups here, or I should say the conference here. We'll start off with the Baltimore Ravens. Their real only path to the playoffs is by winning the AFC North, which I think it's doable, although their schedule from here on out is pretty tough. They have to play, I believe, the Packers and the Patriots. I'm sorry, I think I worded that. I think it's the Patriots and then the Packers and then the Steelers. Okay, how do you guys see Baltimore? It's been a bit of a disappointing season for the Ravens, man. I'm surprised. As a Steeler fan, I'm surprised.
You know, earlier today I went on a little bit of a PFR, Pro Football Reference, rabbit hole, just kind of looking at different team stats and stuff like that. And, you know, I recognize that outside of Zay Flowers, they have nobody to receive the ball. I don't think anyone has more than like 370 yards outside of Zay Flowers on their whole team.
Damn.
And I think that's kind of indicative, you know, of course, of like Lamar being hurt and the way that their offense is structured, but also indicative that they don't really have enough firepower to make it. I think this year is just kind of a lost year. You know, they're not getting much production on defense either. I just think
very unnatural for the Ravens.
Exactly. Just get them out, you know, not this year, buddy, and we'll see you next year.
Yeah, maybe they could reload during the draft or sign some free agents on that side of the ball, but they just look lackluster.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very disappointing because they went kind of all in on Derrick Henry, and that was really to go out and be a Super Bowl contender, which they were contenders even before they got Derrick Henry. This year's just not the same. Lamar Jackson's been dealing with injuries. This might be biased, okay? I don't think they make the playoffs. Not because they're not good enough to, or they're not good enough to win the AFC North, but really because of the tough schedule.
Yeah. Who's the number 8 on this list?
Number 8 is the Colts, 8-6.
I love you, Phillip Rivers, but I don't know, man. I think he played well.
Yeah.
I think they're out of juice. I think they just go home. You know?
I'm not taking Phillip Rivers against any team, really.
I am, but I still think they're not making it.
I'll say this. I think the playoff standings are going to stay at around where they are right now for the AFC side. All the teams in the hunt, they're really all struggling, man. So I don't see the Colts or the Ravens making it in.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep it short with the Colts side. They
Yeah,
have
no.
Grandpa Rivers. Respect to him after 5 years being retired, going back. So respect to Philip right there.
Yeah, he kept it close against the Seahawks. So hey, I respect him for that.
Shout out Rivers, man.
Next, we have the Houston Texans being the 7th seed. They have a 9-5 record, second in the AFC South. Where do we see the Texans finishing? I think this is an underrated team.
I think they can go as far as C.J. Stroud is willing to take them. Obviously, that offensive line is a big handcuff, don't get me wrong. And, the run game has kind of been tough since Joe Mixon randomly just died. But that defense, man, oh my gosh, that defense is crazy. Will Anderson is playing like a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Too bad Myles Garrett exists. But yeah, as long as C.J. Stroud continues to play at this level, I think they can maybe get a wild card win. But I wouldn't say that with confidence. I think, they're on the bubble with that.
Yeah, their defense is still baller. Look what they did to Justin Herbert in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
It had to be mentioned.
Tough.
But like you said, C.J. Stroud is gonna, if he plays well, maybe they'll make it far. If he doesn't, first round exit.
Yep.
But if he plays well, man, that team I think they could go maybe get 2 playoff wins, man. I'm pretty high on this Houston Texans team. They're really starting to hit their stride a little bit. The Patriots are the 2nd seed right now.
Yes.
Drake May. I think the Texans could beat the Patriots in that first round, man. I don't think that's impossible to say. Whether or not they could beat the Broncos. The thing about the Patriots and the Broncos is, we've already said this already, the lack of experience. I do think that they have a really good future ahead of them, both Patriots and the Broncos. Is it this year, this season? I probably not. Okay?
I think we're going to have to answer that question when we get to them.
Well, we're going to have to answer that question, okay? I think, just on the safe side, the Texans will get a playoff win.
Okay.
Next, we have the Buffalo Bills being the 6th seed. Who would have thought the Buffalo Bills not winning their division this season? I guess there's still a chance, right? Honestly, guys, I think if the Bills don't win the Super Bowl this season, they're not going to. They're just a cursed franchise. They don't have Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in front of them anymore. That excuse of the refs, the Bills versus the refs, that's not an excuse this season. All right? So this is the team that I'm going to say, even though they're the 6th seed, they're going to make the Super Bowl. Simply because if they don't make it this year, when will they?
I think, honestly, that's a great point. I think the Chiefs are out. There is no more excuses. We just saw what Josh Allen did to the Patriots, which are the number 2 seed in the AFC. I think this is their year. Sorry, Xavier, but I don't think the Broncos are going to go as far as the Super Bowl. And the same thing goes for my Chargers. So I think I would probably take the Bills, a seasoned playoff team built to win in the cold with a great quarterback to go all the way.
I mean, I'll say it. The Bills are probably the only team I'm actually afraid of for the Broncos.
Fair.
Nobody else on the list, even the Patriots, because they're a super young team. They haven't made the playoffs since, I think, Mac Jones' rookie year. Back in 2021.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's just can't count out Josh Allen. He's a monster. He could run it all over you if he decides to. Are you gonna have a linebacker that catches up with him? He might just hurdle over you.
On God.
Yeah.
Anthony Barr, get out.
Yeah, that's a scary team. I will say I don't like their weapons at wide receiver.
Like Josh Palmer.
It's okay.
They're kind of stacked with wide receiver 2s and 3s.
Yeah, Khalil Shakur is kind of like the one guy that's reliable, I would say.
Yeah.
But, they have a Dalton Kincaid and then Dawson Knox.
And then don't count out Jackson Haas, the blocking tight end. 13 personnel looks nasty for them, but that's kind of it.
That's a good formula for the playoffs, running the ball with James Cook. I think he's past 1,000 yards at this point.
James Cook's a beast, man.
Yeah.
He's a beast.
Mm-hmm.
But Josh Allen's just an elite quarterback, man. I think, he doesn't have the accolades as Patrick Mahomes. So if we're talking the past couple of seasons, I think Josh Allen has been the best quarterback in the league. The only other quarterback you could say is Lamar Jackson. But if this season alone, it's gotta be Josh Allen, right? Unless you're gonna say Drake May.
Drake May. But it's been tough for who's the best quarterback this year. I would I think Josh Allen probably.
Are we strictly talking about the AFC? Because I feel like Matthew Stafford's right there.
Oh yeah.
I didn't think about Matthew Stafford. I still put Josh Allen over Matthew Stafford. I just think that the talent-wise, what he could do, and at his size, it's just insane what he could do.
Yeah, you don't see quarterbacks like him come around too often.
No. So again, that's why I want them to win the Super Bowl. I'm kind of pulling for them a little bit to win the Super Bowl. So I got them going to the Super Bowl. What do you guys?
I think they can make the AFC Championship game 100%.
Are they losing to the Broncos in this scenario?
A little bias.
In my world, in my perfect world, yeah.
Okay.
I'm taking the Bills for the Super Bowl.
That's fair to say. I wonder who you think's going to go to the Super Bowl, man. All right. Next, we have Nate Dogg, your team.
The real Super Bowl contenders here.
I almost said San Diego. The Los Angeles Chargers at the 5th seed, 10-4, second in the AFC West. Nate Dogg, where do you see them finishing?
I'm going to say this first. I'm going to try to keep it short. It won't be, but I will. I write for Chargers on SI, so, I've had plenty of my thoughts there, so shameless plug. But overall, this team is going to be handcuffed by that offensive line. They were at one point down to about their 6th or 7th offensive tackle.
Oh, God. You did it.
I did it. We're getting a little bit healthier with the offensive line. If Trey Pipkins can come back soon, that'd be great. But, big free agent signing, Mekhi Becton has been a complete bust. Outside the first 3 weeks of the season, he's been either banged up or bad. So with that offensive line, playing at the way that they are, they're not built to win against pretty much any of these AFC teams because a lot of them are very very focused on defense, pass rush, and we can't hold up against that. Justin Herbert has a broken hand. Running game is getting better with Omarion Hampton healthy, but overall, offense has no juice. Greg Roman, I hate you. And then defensively, we're playing wonderful. Shout out Jesse Minter, but how long can this last with kind of this Mod Podge group that we have going on? We have Dante Jackson playing an elite level, which, as you know, as a Steelers fan,
Former
is kind of
Steeler.
weird. Yeah. So, how long can this last? Do they last in the playoffs? I'm hoping for a wild card win to get the monkey off. Justin Herbert's back, that he's not a winner. That's all I can hope for. Do I think they will? I'm going to say they will, just speak it into existence, but my confidence is not very high.
I want to believe in Justin Herbert. And
Believe in Justin Herbert.
the broken hands concerning.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you guys had Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt on the line, I think you guys can make some noise. But those are two cornerstone tackles that are missing. And even Omarion Hampton, he's back now.
Yeah.
But
he doesn't really look the same.
yeah, he's not 100% healthy.
Not yet.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't know how far you guys can really go.
Yeah.
A healthy team's a different story.
Offensive line is it's brutal. And yeah.
You got to win in the trenches, and that's not beating anybody.
No. You're telling me Jamari Salyer, Mekhi Becton, Bradley Bozeman, the best player in the NFL, by the way. Zion Johnson and maybe Trey Pipkins is not, or Bobby Hart. Trevor Penning, the kid this appetizing. No, okay.
Yeah.
I think depending on the matchup on who they play will determine whether or not they get a playoff win this season. If they're going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think they have a shot. I think they do.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the Steelers in a little bit. But if they're going up against a 3 seed like the who's the 3 seed right now?
The Jaguars.
Oh, see, that's tough, man. Yeah, I don't think they beat the Jaguars in Jacksonville. I'm not too sure, man. So as long as they stay the 5th seed, they'll probably have a shot at winning a playoff game.
Yeah, if we play the Steelers, sorry to cut you off. If we play the Steelers,
fine.
y'all take an L. That's it. But that's our only chance to get a W in the playoff.
Yeah, wait, hold on. He might be right. Okay, so I got them. If they're the 5th seed, they'll get a playoff win. If they're the 6th or 7th seed, I wasn't gonna. I tried to delay the 6th and the 7th so that wouldn't happen, but he did it.
Set me up, man.
Okay. If they're one of those 2 seeds, I don't see them winning the playoff game. I think that's pretty fair to say. Next, we have my Pittsburgh Steelers. 8-6 record, first in the AFC North, coming off of a big win against the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, man, this team has a lot of problems that have been problems for the entire season. They can't cover the middle of the field. Their rush defense is struggling every single game, which is concerning that they're going to be playing the Lions this week. I'm very concerned about that with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Yeah. They're just struggling a lot. I know the Chargers are a little bit struggling with their rushing game, though. But, I mean, everybody's running all over the Steelers' defense. And if you could throw it in the middle of the field, you'll be just fine.
Yeah.
That's the problems with the Steelers' defense. With the offense, it's very inconsistent. Although the Steelers' defense has been playing better since Jalen Ramsey has moved to the safety position, which keep him there. I don't think he is out of his prime. I think he's better as a safety right now in his career than he is as a cornerback. That's me personally, out of what I've seen, out of what I've watched every Sunday. So the corners have kind of stepped up. The younger corners have stepped up. I see this team, honestly, being first round exits. Maybe they have a shot against the Chargers. Maybe
Fair.
But I saw the Steelers live against the Chargers get completely demolished. So maybe I'm wrong. I think they're first round exits. Unfortunately, although this team has been playing with a little bit of fight and fire, which hasn't been seen for a lot, really the past couple of seasons. So at least that I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have anything to disagree about with that.
Kind of a short conversation for a team that won't be in the playoffs for very long. So,
Yeah, it's just...
I'm just going off what I see every Sunday. That's really it. I know I'm a diehard Steeler fan. That's what I see every Sunday. So I'm just being honest here. I'm being real.
Real.
Okay. Next, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. Honestly, I'm going to keep this one short. I'm not too sure how good they really are. Are they even going to finish the third seed? Maybe not. I actually have Houston probably winning this division, surprisingly. I think they're first round. Or no. I said, depending on the matchup, I think they're first round exits, though.
As it stands, it looks like they'll be playing the Bills. So goodbye, Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence might be fraudulent, but he just come off an insane game. If he plays like that for the rest of the way, okay, all right. Trevor Lawrence, we're so back. Clemson, Lawrence is back. But if that's a one-off, goodbye. Bills got you. Thank you for blowing out my Chargers. That hurt my feelings.
I wasn't going to bring that up, but he does have one playoff win. And it just so happened to be against Justin Herbert and the Chargers.
We don't talk about that.
I wasn't going to bring it up. But I had to. I had to put that stat out there.
Great. So, bye, Jags.
They did split the series with the Texans this year. 1 win, 1 loss.
Interesting.
So they might just stay slotted at the third seed.
Okay.
Especially if the Broncos beat them this Sunday. Trevor Lawrence, he's too inconsistent.
Yeah.
We'll see good flashes like this every year.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, I don't know. They said Jacoby Myers, he's kind of lightened the offense up a little bit more since Travis Hunter's been out. But at least their defense has been nice.
Yeah. That pass rush is no joke. It's underrated.
Even the secondary. They have what's his name? From Florida State. The corner.
Jarrian Jones?
Yeah, Jarrian Jones. I've been a fan of him. But, and then Devin Lloyd. First half of the year, he was getting Defensive Player of the Year conversations.
Yeah. Greg Newsome hasn't been very good for them, though, from my understanding, after that Browns trade.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the fact that they're doing this well without Travis Hunter is indicative of how good Liam Cohen is coaching at this point in the year. Mm-hmm. But I think, like you said, keep it short. I think they're going to be cut by the Bills.
Duval. Yeah. That's how you said it, right?
Yeah. and they do have like a nice little two-headed monster between Travis Etienne and Bashal Tutin. Yeah. It seems like they're trying to take the load off Trevor Lawrence and only pass when it makes sense.
Good.
Almost like in a Sam Darnold role, really. Yeah. And
that defense ain't like the Seahawks, though.
Oh, no. So that's two different levels.
AFC has some young teams, man. It's going to be fun to watch how the AFC is going to turn out the next couple of years because there are some young teams even now in this current playoff standing. So I'm actually very excited for some change, especially with the Chiefs out. So that's going to be cool, man. Next, we have the New England Patriots led by Vrabel. You thought I was going to say Drake May, huh?
You got me.
I'm gonna say it now though. Drake and led by Drake May. Where do you guys see New England finishing?
Man, they're such a wild card. Honestly, I think it's after seeing that Bills game, I think it's kind of indicative of what's to come in the playoffs, where New England can beat up on bad teams, even like solid teams. Like for example, they could probably beat the Chargers, right? But I think when it comes to playoff time, they face a team like the Bills. Goodbye, good night. They don't have the firepower. Stephon Diggs is a good player. I like Kayshon Boutte. I like all these players, but it's just not enough. Get some more talent, and they super overachieved this year. Good for them.
Yeah.
But I can see them divisional, maybe win, maybe. But after that, good run, good job, guys, and we'll see you next year.
Definitely see a divisional win. I think they could top a lot of these squads besides the Bills. But here's the thing. It was a very back-and-forth game this past Sunday. At 35-31, the offense did more than their part.
Yeah.
They broke down
Yeah.
at the end.
But Drake May, that's a future superstar, really.
Gosh.
Like,
So good.
he looks so composed every game. It doesn't look like he's, new to this.
No.
Yeah.
I hate it, man, because the Patriots, as a Steeler fan, the Patriots made my life as a kid a living hell because the Patriots always just whooped on the Steelers. The Broncos, you're a Broncos fan.
Yeah.
The Broncos were able to get the Patriots a few times.
Yeah, somehow got Brady's number.
We all have shared trauma, it seems.
Oh, 100%.
The one time my Chargers were good, Patriots, goodbye.
I had the Jesse James.
Oh,
No
what a pull.
Feel my pain.
Somehow, not a catch.
My pain.
What about the Marlon McCree fumble interception? Game-stealing interception against the 2007 Patriots, fumbles it, and they lose the game.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
horrible.
I think the Patriots are back, unfortunately. I don't think it's their year, though. They're just again, I feel like I'm saying the same thing a lot. Just a young squad, although on the AFC side, there are a lot of young squads. So maybe that doesn't hold them back too much. Once they have to face Buffalo, I don't think they're going to beat Buffalo.
100%. And who's our 1 seed?
The 1 seed is your Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
This is my Super Bowl. If I'm taking one team, I know I'm talking from a biased homer perspective, but they're 12-2 for a reason. 11 straight wins. Bo Nix, he didn't start off the season well. I'll admit that. Seems like every game was up and down. But I feel like since the halfway point, it's only been good games. He has
This one faster.
he has multiple 300-yard games passing, multiple 4-touchdown games. It seems like I said this during the Eagles game, actually. Or wait, was it? No, it was the Giants game, week 6, I believe. I had a friend text me because he's an Eagles fan, so he wanted to see the Giants lose, of course.
Okay.
And as we all know, they came back from, I think, 22 points in the fourth quarter.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, this guy, he kind of reminds me of Tebow. When the fourth quarter comes into play, there's no one stopping him. And I think a lot of that has to do with the so many starts he had in college. He had the most starts ever. I think it was 61 starts by a quarterback. And that's really prepared him for this league. Yeah. It's just, I'm taking Bo Nix over everybody. Bo Nix against the world.
Some would say that Bo Nix was reminding you of a Kenny Pickett.
What?
Turning up in the fourth quarter. I'm not saying the talent wise or anything like that. For some reason, Kenny Pickett was able to turn up in the fourth quarter when he was a Steeler. I don't know why.
He'd go from 24 passing yards to 48.
He would double his amount. I agree with a lot with what you said, man. I don't think a lot of that's bias. They are a really good team. They played a really good team in the Packers. Sure, the injuries kind of held them back, but still, I mean, they beat the Packers, right?
Yeah, that's a quality win.
That is a quality.
You know what this team reminds me of? They remind me of a 2000 Steeler team.
Defense.
They have a really good defense. They have a young quarterback. Oh, maybe not young for being in his sophomore year, but he's still a young quarterback. Okay, doing well. They honestly remind me of a 2000 Steeler team, which I like watching. I like watching the Denver Broncos play.
One could say that 2005 Steelers team wasn't Big Ben in his second year when he won the Super Bowl.
One could say.
One can say.
Hey.
I'm not gonna be that one. I'm gonna say they finished like the 2004 Pittsburgh Steelers team. That they go to the AFC Championship game, and I think they lose to Buffalo. I think it's gonna be a very close game, okay? But it's gotta be the Bills here, man. It has to be.
We do say that every year, and haven't seen it.
We do.
But, I'm trying not to be biased, but I do think I haven't watched every Broncos game, but I feel like every time I tune in, it's like, cool, another barely win against whatever.
Yeah, it's been like that.
But that's kind of the style of play, and I can't knock them.
Yeah.
And, they're Bo Nix, if he plays like he did against the Packers, good luck. It might be Super Bowl time because that was a great game. And I've been kind of a Bo Nix, I don't know, not a hater, but, just mildly, didn't like him. And that game, that opened my eyes a little bit because he balled out. He played like a top 5 quarterback that day. And, if I can recall, the last time Bo Nix lost a game was against the Los Angeles Chargers. Or was it, because that was week 2, week 3?
I'm trying to think because it was back to back. It was the Chargers and Colts, or it was the Colts and Chargers.
Okay, but no, we played you guys after the Colts.
Then yeah.
But if we played again, Broncos are blowing the Chargers out.
Well, week 18.
Week 18.
Yeah. So we'll see.
We will see. And I don't think beating the Chargers at this point is a super quality win because the state of the team, Chargers were a bit more healthy when we first played. But leave the Chargers out of it, right? I think the Broncos have enough, especially if we get that Bo Nix we just saw against the Packers. They have enough to make it to the Super Bowl, but I'm going to say it one more time. I think it's the Bills here, and, I think the Broncos will have a nice run, though, to build off for next year.
Yeah. Since we all pretty much have, like, the Bills and the Broncos as, like, the AFC Championship picture, I will say they played last year. Wild card.
Oh, yeah.
Broncos were the 7th seed.
That is right.
Bills were the 2nd seed. Bills did beat the Broncos pretty handily. But now that the Broncos have that playoff experience, they know what it feels like. If they face them again, they're more prepared.
It's not going to be the same game. It's going to be a very down-to-the-wire game. I think Buffalo's going to struggle a lot.
And it'll be at Denver because they currently have the number 1 seed.
Ooh.
The Broncos don't lose at home.
That
like,
home field
ever.
advantage is real.
Like, historically, the Broncos don't lose at home. I mean, if we get rid of the losing seasons, of course that shifts. But
Well, the Chargers win when they win, and they lose. No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But that home field advantage point is, I think it's going to be close, man. I think it's going to be real close.
Yeah. So, and the let me just go on about the defense real quick.
Yeah.
Along with the Tebow thing I said earlier, the defense really reminds me of that Super Bowl year in 2015 because of how much depth there is on, doesn't matter if it's the defensive line, the secondary, the linebackers. And whenever there's a substitution, that guy makes a play. He does his job right. And that defense they can all rely on each other, and they all come up with plays when they need to. It's beautiful. I love to see it as a fan,
Yeah, I do too. I actually really like enjoying watching a Denver Bronco football. And what you said about them playing the Bills, I actually kind of forgot about that. It's going to be a great AFC Championship game. And I do believe we all picked the same Super Bowl, right? The Rams and the Bills?
Or Rams and the Broncos.
Oh, right.
I'm going to be a homer and say Rams Broncos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2 of us picked the Rams and Bills. and Rams and Broncos.
Yes.
Okay, no bias here. Okay, I will say if the Steelers
Just a little bit.
if the Steelers play at home on Monday night every single playoff game, they're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I'm 6'5".
Hey, no, they haven't lost a Monday Night Football game at Heinz Field in a long time. They have the longest streak of that, but it's not going to happen. Okay, it's a fantasy land. But if they play your Chargers in the wild card round on Monday night, maybe they do beat the Chargers. Maybe that happens.
One could say if.
It's
Justin
an if.
Herbert,
Yeah.
If Justin Herbert goes to Monday Night Football against the Steelers at home. Yeah. Okay.
In that situation, the Steelers go into the second round.
Yeah.
But that's what we got for this one, man. What are your guys' thoughts? What team do you guys think is going to the Super Bowl on both sides? It's going to be a very fun year, a very fun playoff chase, and interesting, man, because it's new teams for at least the AFC side. NFC side is kind of the same, but nonetheless, we are getting some new and fresh teams and some young teams. So what do you guys have to say about that? You guys can let us know in the comment section. That's about it for this one, guys, and we'll catch you guys later.